What's up everybody, David here, and today I'm going to give you guys 3 tips to fix a dull and lifeless mix. Now what am I talking about exactly? I'm talking about all the times you finished mixing a song and sonically everything sounds great. The instruments, all the different sections sound awesome, they're playing well together, but the mix is just simply boring. It's just dull and lifeless. Nothing is jumping out of the speakers, there's no movement, it's just boring. I can guarantee that this has happened to every single one of us. It still happens to me all the time. So today I'm going to give you guys 3 different things I do when that happens to liven up the mix, to spice it up, and to make it more interesting. Now of course this is not the end all be all to spicing up a mix. There's plenty of ways to do this, but the 3 I'm going to give you today are the ones that I use the most and the ones that just seem to help me out quite a bit. First tip is balance, which 90% of the time seems to be the issue for me. The thing about balance is that balance completely dictates the vibe of your mix. Having a more drum forward mix as opposed to having a more guitar centric mix is going to create a very different vibe. So you really need to tailor the balance of a mix for the style of music you're going for the vibe that you want to create. For example, take a metal band. If there's a lot of breakdowns in the song, getting the bass, the kick, and the guitars balanced right is going to make a big difference on the punchiness of all those breakdowns and how in your face they really are. So what I normally do to fix the balance in the song is actually completely start over. I don't mean remixing the song, I mean rebalancing the song. So what I'll normally do is take all the faders and pull them down to 0 and then slowly introduce them one by one and recreate the balance and the vibe that I'm looking for. Now, I think it's important that you don't just mute the faders. You need to pull them all down to nothing and slowly introduce them into the mix. I've tried just muting it and dialing in the levels, but I feel like it just doesn't work as well as slowly bringing up the fader. I feel like if you just bring all faders down to 0, it better helps you reset the mix and to just completely start over. So once I have everything at 0, I always start with the drums. I'll start with the room sound first, bring in the kick, bring in the snare, bring in the overheads and the toms, then all the other drum pieces, and the bass guitar, the guitars, and the vocals, and just completely start from the ground up and re-sculpt the mix. And usually pulling everything down to 0 and getting a fresh start just kind of resets my ears, and once I do that, the balance of the mix is 1,000 times better. Like 99% of the time. That just always really works well for me, just to start back at nothing, completely reset, and to start over. Second tip is automation, and the thing about automation is that you absolutely need automation. You just need it. There's no way around it. You need automation. On all of my older mixes, I didn't use any automation. They were just completely static and boring all the way through, and now it is absolutely essential to me. Of course, creating impact and excitement in a song always starts with the songwriting, but it's your job as a mixer to help accentuate that and to bring that impact and those transitions to life. For example, I'm a member of Nail the Mix, so a couple months ago the song was Bring Me the Horizon Doomed, and in that song the verse has a very just calm, somber vibe to it, and then it explodes into this huge chorus. So what I did automation wise is that in the verse I automated the close mics of the kick and the snare to come down and the room mic to come up. This made a really open, chill, and relaxed drum vibe in the verse, and everything was just very spacious and wide, but then the chorus, I completely flip-flopped it. The room came down and the kick and the snare close mic came up. Now everything was in your face and huge, and the impact was there. It was exciting. It was a huge step up coming from the verse, and I did that with automation, and that made a really big difference on the vibe and the impact of that chorus. And that's not just for single instruments. You can do this on the entire mix bus. So if you want a whole section to just jump out at you and have crazy impact, bring the whole section up like a DB. You can do a lot with automation, and you can create a lot of impact and excitement. Automation is super important to make things exciting and to make things just fun to listen to. And unfortunately, it took me a long time to realize that after having static, boring mixes for a while, but I mean, what can you do? At least I learned it sooner or later. And now I think that my newer mixes and a lot of the more recent stuff I've done is just a lot more fun and exciting to listen to. Third last thing is effects, and by effects I mean things like bass drops, cymbal swells, explosions, gunshots, anything really cinematic. Like anything you hear in a movie trailer is fair game. That is awesome stuff to put inside of songs. Effects is something I've been experimenting with recently, and it's really just small stuff like putting an explosion at the chorus, maybe putting a swell and an explosion at like a breakdown of a song or something, Just something to really drive home that impact. I know you have guys like Joey Sturgis doing this a lot in their recordings, and it really just makes things sound larger than life. Like I said earlier, impact and excitement starts with the songwriting. But in the mixing stage, this stuff can really help drive it home and drive it into the listener and make sure that when you want to make a point, they get that point 100%. When they want something to be heard and in your face, you can make that happen. And the thing about effects is that it doesn't matter what genre you're working in because a little goes a long way. So once again, it's things like cymbal swells and bass drops that go down in pitch, or just bass booms that just stay at the same note. Maybe gunshots, explosions are really cool. Stuff like glass breaking, just really anything that creates more impact and just makes the song more fun. And try to record your own stuff. Go record yourself slamming the door. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it makes the song fun and exciting, it's fair game. So once again guys, just to recap, the first tip was balance. Pull all your faders down, and that gives you a chance to re-sculpt your song and really dial in that vibe. Second tip was automation. If you want something to be dialed back and not so in your face, pull down the volume on it. And then when you want it to be in your face, raise the volume on it. Like something as simple as that. As simple as half a dB or dB makes a really big difference. And then third one was effects. Get creative, punch yourself in the face and put it in a song. Why do I say these things? Please don't punch yourself in the face, that is a bad idea. Maybe just stick with slamming the door. At the end of the day, just make sure it's fun, whether it's an explosion or glass breaking, whatever makes that part more interesting, more impactful, and drives a point home to the listener is fair game. And that's the 3 tips I have for you today, guys. Balance, automation, and effects. So when you're stuck on a mix, when you just find it to be a little boring, everything sounds great, but it's just kind of dull, try those things out. I'm really sure they're going to help you because they've helped me out quite a bit. And that's where I'm going to end it for today, guys. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Is this something that you already do? Are you already applying these tips? Are you going to apply these tips? Just let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's new videos every single week and you don't want to miss any content. Once again, thank you so much for watching. My name is David and I will see you next time.